When I was a child, I used to be scared of mascots. And I don't know why. My earliest memory of being afraid of mascots was I was at a hockey game with my father, and we were watching the hockey game, watching those guys skate on ice. And sure enough, there was a mascot of a local radio station, Fox, and that fox walked down the locker room hallway. If you've ever been in a ice arena and seen a locker room, oh boy, that's a skinny hallway. And that mascot was coming straight for us, just dialed in. It was my dad and that mascot looking us straight in the eye, and it put his hands up, wanted a hug. I was damn 3 years old, and I've never had such a panic attack in my whole entire 3 years on Earth. So I freaked out. I freaked out, and we cut a turn into the locker room, one of the locker rooms that were open, and my dad saved me. He saved me from that fox mascot, and ever since then in my life, I was afraid of those big old mascots. So anytime we go anywhere, I'd be looking over my shoulder. Is that a mascot? No, just a big old person. And I'd lay down at night, all up until maybe I was even up to 12 years old. I'd be thinking about mascots, and that'd be a big fear. But as I've grown older, I ain't afraid of those mascots anymore. I welcome them. I can go to Disneyland. I could do anything. I could have one for my birthday if I really wanted. Big old Elmo suit. I'd be happy for it. And that's just a little piece of knowledge for you on something I was afraid of when I was younger, but I overcame that. And let me see. I'm trying to just think of if there's any other scary things in my life that if I had. And I was probably scared of a lot of things when I was younger. I was scared. I was a scared little boy. I was scared of thunder, scared of lightning. I was scared of that. I didn't know what that lightning was. Or the thunder and lightning. I didn't know what that was. I'd be in our house, and I'd hear the sky yelling at us, and it was terrifying, and I didn't know what that was. And I think them older people, they were trying to explain to me what it was. They were trying to explain it was some sort of, I don't even know what thunder is still. Something about the clouds moving, things shifting, and it just made me more scared. So I didn't like mascots, nor did I like thunder. I saw a pretty lady one time when I was a young lad before I met my beautiful wife. And we went on a date. And it was a nice date. And at the end of the date, we decided to do a second date within the date. And that date was to go for a little walk on the dike. There was a dike. That's what we call a dike. First of all, a dike is not what you think it is. A dike could mean two things, and the thing I'm talking about is not the person form. I'm talking about the dike that you go walk on. The dike is something I think they build to prevent floods. And we've gone on this nice date, and it was pleasant. Things are going well. Going on a nice, maybe half an hour walk. Sure enough, get back to my car. I lock my keys in the car, and this girl, she was not impressed. She was not impressed with me, so I didn't know what to do. I called a tow truck, and he put a big old expansion device in my door. He put it in my door, and he cracked my door open a little bit with the expansion device balloon. Pump, 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 pump. The door opened a little bit, even though it was locked, and he managed to get a little thing in there, a little wire, and open my door. And let's just say I never saw that lady again. I don't know. I've been through it, man. I've been so damn drunk as a young child. 16 years old, I found myself in a ditch one time. I found myself so drunk sometimes. When I was a child, got my hands on the liquor, found myself in bed, vomited in my bed, and I even urinated. I even urinated the bed. And these are some things that I don't do anymore. I'm a grown man. I know how to handle myself. I know how to handle the alcohol. And these are things that everybody have to deal with when they're that age. You got to go through it, but don't take it too far. I found myself in a hospital bed. Sure enough, scared the hell out of my parents. Picked me up in a hospital bed from drinking too much. I thought I did drugs. I told everybody I did drugs, and they tested me for the drugs, and they said, "No, sir, you just did alcohol." These are some embarrassing stories about me, and that's okay. I think everybody goes through these embarrassing stories, and not a lot of people talk about them. And these could be the best stories of them all. When I was younger, I was in the mall with my grandma. We're walking around. We're walking in the mall. I was damn 6 years old. 6 years old walking with grandma. Loved it. Loved going to the mall with her. See a group of teenagers. These teenagers are cool looking. I was inspired by the older crew. These cool teenagers hanging out in the mall all alone. I had my camo pants on, thinking I'm the man. I'm gonna walk past these teenagers and I'm gonna look like the man. So I'm walking with grandma. We're about to leave the mall, walk past the teenagers, and sure enough, I smashed my face into the glass door, glass window, walked right into the window, and all the teenagers saw me, and they laughed. They laughed their ass off at me. When I was younger, when I was even probably in the 7th grade, we had to do a family project, and did a family project about our families. And I don't know. Nowadays I feel like they wouldn't do that because there's so much controversial stuff with families. But 7th grade, I put a picture of my cat, and my cat was a part of my family. But little did everybody know he died. He died maybe like a couple weeks ago, but I still felt the need to put him on my poster board. So when I brought that poster board to school, I had to look at my cat that just died, and that's probably the first thing that has ever died in my life that meant something super important to me. And I cried. I cried in that classroom, and that was embarrassing to me. I used to prepare for zombie apocalypse when I was 18 years old. I used to be ready for it. I used to run. I used to work out, and I used to read zombie apocalypse books. And I just kept on going. I figured there was going to be a zombie apocalypse, some sort of apocalypse, and I felt like it was super important to know how to run. So, boy, I ran. I ran and I trained, but here we are, over 10 years later, still no zombie apocalypse. I think that everybody should probably stay in shape, but if you don't want to stay in shape, that's fine. Quite frankly, I'll be working out every day, and sometimes I'll be shittier. I'll be feeling shittier than I feel if I take a couple days off. Sometimes if I alternate days, if I work out maybe one day, take a day off, and work out another day, work out 2 days in a row, take another day off, I'm feeling much better because my body's getting time to recover. But is that really true? Is that really true, or is that just my mind telling me to be lazy? I should be going to the gym right now. I haven't gone yet today. I've had a full day, but I'm making excuses. I'm looking outside. There's some snow out there. There's some snow out there. Am I using that as an excuse? Snow's coming down. I'm thinking to myself, is it safe? Is it worth the risk? Probably is. I'll probably be fine. Or I might crash, risk my life. But that's worth it. It's worth it to risk your life for the gym and staying in shape. Let's see. I think everything in Canada is doing well. I think we have no government right now. It's February 5th, 2025. Our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, resigned a few weeks ago. And he is in the process of leaving as they find a new Liberal Prime Minister to take over Canada. And then we're probably going to have an election. I feel like we are in trouble. I feel like we do not have the resources that we need in the government. We don't have any. We don't know who we're looking at. I don't know if this guy's fully in. If I know I'm out of a job, is my heart in it 100%? I feel like I'm on my way out. I don't know if I'm in it 100%. Is this guy just doing it for the money? Is he just doing it for the power? It's his choice. He can do what he wants. He can put as much as he wants into it. I'm reading articles. Donald Trump placing tariff threats on Canada. And we got 1 day away until the tariffs. Next thing you know, I see the tariffs have been extended. 30-day extension on the tariff warning. Why is that? Did he do something? Was that Trudeau? Did he help with that? Or was that somebody else's doing? Very productive phone call, he said. I don't know if that's okay. Trump dog is pretty hardcore, dude. He's a pretty hardcore guy. I wouldn't mess with that guy. If I were anybody, if I were in the government, I would want to be friends with the Trump dog. He's out there doing it. He's out there. He I think is trying. I don't know what he's doing. I think he's 78 years old or so. He's almost an 80-year-old man, and he's out there trying to run the world. Is that what he's trying to do? If he is, I respect that. Is he trying to take over? Because he's saying he wants to make Canada part of the United States. That's pretty badass, dude. I'm a Canadian, and I still think that's badass. If you don't think that's badass, check yourself. Because this guy decides to become the president, okay? He decided it. Everybody was against him. He became the president once, and then he somehow lost a second run at it. And here he is, his third try. He didn't give up, and he's a president. Now this dude's trying to take over the world, I think. Is he? Is he trying to take over the world? Is that his long-term plan here? Is he he's like, okay, I need to create this legacy. I'm going to do it. And he's just saying he can do anything. And hey, man, I don't know. Canada's Canada. I love Canada, but I'm not getting involved with that stuff. I'm sitting back and I'm watching. As long as everything's good, as long as my family has a roof over their head, as long as nothing significantly changes in my life, I love America. I love Canada. I love all the countries that are nice. I don't like all the countries that are not nice, but I think every country should probably... The thing is, every country has different things going on, and every country has different rules and different government and different funding, and there's a lot of poverty out there. But if there was one single government, then you would think that everybody would be equal and everybody deserves certain things: healthcare, food, housing, and stuff like that. But you can't trust the government. That's the only thing. So I don't think that would fly. You can't trust them. And maybe that's what Trump dog's doing. Maybe he's trying to be like, hey, we're going to make we're going to make the whole world the United States. Because I even read that he wants to take over the Gaza Strip. Is he going to try and make that America? Is he gonna try and do that? We'll see. We'll see. I heard he wants to make he said the Gulf of Mexico is now called the Gulf of America. Pretty wild stuff. And we'll see what happens. I think that everybody needs to just chill out, and I don't think things are going to calm down for a while. So sit back, relax, buckle your seatbelts. If you're an average Joe, buckle your seatbelts and enjoy the ride. Hopefully it all works out for us. Hopefully we don't have any bad things happen. Hopefully everybody's happy. I want everybody to be happy, but probably not going to happen. Whew. Okay, I'm just going to gather myself here. I feel like I'm going off. I've been doing podcasts a few times now, trying to do it every night, and I feel like I've been doing all right. But right now, I feel like I'm about to have a little fucking freak out. So let me just. I just sometimes feel like I'm scared because I don't know what to say next, and then I just start going off. And that time I just started talking about Donald Trump, and that's not even something I would really talk about in real life. I got to work with my dad today. That was pretty cool. We work for the same. We run the same company, you could say. And we did some jobs together today. He was just speaking of other countries. He was actually just in the United States. He was just in Mexico. They were doing their annual trip, and they just returned a couple days ago. Sounds like he's itching to work again. So him and I just did a couple jobs together. We went out there and we fixed a garbage enclosure door. We went to a building. We looked at all sorts of little jobs in a building to do. Drove around together. It was a pretty fun day. Not a lot of people get to say they get to do that with their dad. So we went from running for mascots to drilling holes in garbage enclosure doors. So, those types of relationships go a long way. One day you're being protected, and next thing you know, you're working together. And maybe one day I'll be doing the protecting, and maybe I don't know really how to fight very well, but that's something I would like to learn sooner than later, because when I have a kid coming up here next few weeks, when I have a kid, I want to be able to protect them and my wife and my family. If anybody messes with them, I want to be able to step in and end their life if I have to, only if I have to, out of self-defense. And that's not something I think I fully know how to do yet with my bare hands. So I think that's something when our child is growing a little bit, maybe I'll take them to go to like some sort of mixed martial arts facility, and maybe we can learn together how to defend ourselves. And if one day I'm walking with my child down a hockey arena locker room hallway, maybe I'll be able to just beat the shit out of that mascot. I just want to, just beat the shit out of him, because then I'll show my child that, like, hey, don't be afraid, because we know how to beat the shit out of this guy. And then I'll take his helmet off, his hat, or the mascot head, take it off, and show that is not real. And say, this is just a guy in here, and he's just a guy. He's not real. And I don't think I think my parents probably explained that to me, but they definitely didn't beat the shit out of any mascots. And maybe that's just out of anger. Something else that okay, here we go. Fuck this guy. Ready for this? Grade 7, okay? speaking of 7th grade, I think I already spoke about 7th grade. We had this teacher, Mr. Won't even say his name. We run into him sometimes we run into him. Anyway, 7th grade teacher, this guy. He was a weirdo, right? He was a weirdo. Looking back on it, he's probably a conspiracy theorist. Okay. Conspiracy theorist guy. It was time to learn about the Mayans, the ancient Mayans. Now, the ancient Mayans had this calendar, and the calendar ended on December 21st, 2012. I believe those are the correct dates. Now, instead of just saying that, this asshole decides to tell our class that this is actually the reason that the calendar ends is because it's the end of the world. This is when the world will end. And I don't know why everybody wasn't freaking out. When he told me this, I was terrified. Everybody was accepting it, and they're like, yeah, that's not for a long time. In the 7th grade, I think it was like, oof, I don't know the math, but, it wasn't that far away. It was probably like, I don't know, whatever. It was probably like 10 years away. And I'm like, 20? This is the end of the world? And this teacher told us, yeah, like actually in the next couple of years, I'm going to be ending. I'll be quitting the school, and I'm going to be pulling out my kids who are also in that school. And yeah, we're going to go travel the world because it'll be our last couple of years on Earth. And yeah, and like everybody's like, yeah. I was scared shitless, man. I went home and I rushed home. I ran home, ran inside, went to the washroom, had crazy diarrhea, like scared diarrhea. My body went into like a terrified state, and I was so scared. I talked to my parents about this. I was like, just so terrified. They're like, no, don't worry, it's not going to happen. I wasn't really convinced. Like, I just felt like this is it. Like, my teacher told me this. Like, like your teacher, like you believe what they're telling you. They're teaching you things. This fucking asshole. I was so pissed off. Like, I wasn't pissed off. I was terrified. I'm pissed off now about it. But to scare a kid like that, and maybe I'm gullible. Maybe I'm the idiot. Maybe I'm 11, 12 years old, and I'm the idiot for believing the teacher, for telling us the world's going to end. But so this guy, like there was a full like couple months of learning about the Mayans for some reason. Super not important shit in my life. I've never used that knowledge in my life. This guy, we're doing Mayan learning about the Mayans. There was one point where he shows us a video. He pulls out the TV. It used to be like TV on the wheels. Pulled it up, VCR probably, or DVD, whatever. I'm not sure what it was at that time. He puts. So this is before 2012. Obviously, this might be like 2002. I don't know. I can't remember. No, maybe like 2005. Whatever. So he puts this TV out, and it's a video of a asteroid, like a long video. I don't know how long it was. I feel like it was like half an hour at least. It was like an episode of a show of the world getting hit with an asteroid, and then the Earth was like getting destroyed, and everything's getting disintegrated. It was like slow video of like all the countries getting killed, and he was like, yeah, that's like, this is essentially what's going to happen. And I think this guy should not have a fucking job. Like, maybe like this was all a joke on me. I don't know. I don't know if this was all a joke. Maybe I'm just thinking back on it. Maybe he actually didn't take it this far, but like he did. And thinking back on it, it's fucked up, dude. Like, this guy shouldn't. I don't know. This guy shouldn't be doing that to kids. And I think he's a fucking creep, and I don't know. It's whatever. I think he's still. I don't know if he's still teaching or what. Like I'll see him sometimes, like in this restaurant that we go to. Usually, it's like a pub. We'll see him there. I'll see him. I saw him last time we went there, which is like a week ago. I saw him there, and I just want to go up to the guy and just be like, "Yo, like, why did you do that?" I was so scared I was so scared one night because this was like a couple months, I think, learning about the Mayans for some reason. Like I was so scared one night. My parents were just trying to, I think, make me happy. I don't know if it was because of this. Maybe I kept it all inside. Maybe I explained it, but they were like, "Let's go like look at guitars." Like we went to a guitar store to look at guitars, and I just couldn't even. All I was thinking about in my head was like, why are we looking at guitars? We're gonna die. Like the world's ending. We're gonna die. And I would talk to classmates, and they were all just like, "Hey," like they didn't seem to care. I don't know why nobody cared. And maybe they were all just playing a huge joke on me, but I don't think so. I was terrified, and I just, just fuck that guy, man. Fuck that teacher. I think he was a creep. I just got weird vibes from him. And yeah, that's about it about that guy. And I was even thinking as a kid, I was like, well, I think technically 2012 I would be 17, I think, or something like that. Like I did the math and I was like, okay, or maybe 18 or something like that. And I was like, okay, at least I'll be able to like have my license and drive for a year before I die. And that was like the silver lining in my thought process on that one. Like, oh yeah, at least I could maybe drive for 1 year before it's all over, because I really was excited to get my license and drive one day when I was an adult. And yeah, so who knew that I would be talking about this asshole on my podcast in the future, like so many years later, whatever. Fuck that guy. And yeah, I know I'm swearing a lot, but I don't really care. He deserves every swear word. And who knows, it'd be fun to actually maybe since like I'm learning to talk to people more and like just be open, maybe next time I see him I should just like go up to him and just like ask him if he remembers me. One of our dear friends from when we were younger passed away. He was actually in that class as well. At his funeral, celebration of life, the teacher showed up. He was there. I was kind of like, oh wow, were you really that? I don't know. I can't judge. Maybe they had a relationship. Like maybe they were friends, or maybe he's, he probably remembered him. He's like, oh, I taught him, and he was an awesome guy. And this guy that passed away, and it's just like so sad. But yeah, he was there. And so if he was there for him, I wonder if he would remember me. So maybe since I'm just trying to learn, but I don't want to cause conflict, but maybe I'll just say hey to him. Hey, Mr. J. I think that's what we used to call him, Mr. J. And if he hears this, then I don't really give a shit. What are you going to do about it? Send me to the principal's office, you fucking loser? But maybe you can explain yourself. Maybe I'm the idiot. Maybe I'm the idiot for believing you. Anyway, sorry for getting so worked up, and I'm kind of being rude. I shouldn't call him a loser, but I don't know. Kind of deserves it. Whatever. I wonder if anybody else gave it to him like that. So 2025 still alive, buddy. Now still alive, didn't end. Sorry, I shouldn't really. 2025 still alive because of the world didn't end, asshole. Oh, I just might need to take a little breath here. Yeah, that just seriously gets me worked up. And I don't know why I'm not sure really where that came from. I think it's just all this childhood random experiences and trauma, I guess. I think that's considered some trauma. But as actually I got older, and as it got closer and closer to the date of December 21st, 2012, I became less scared. And I was like, you know what? If it happens, it happens. Let's go. But there was so much talk about it, and people were saying, no, it's not going to happen. And no, it didn't happen. So when the day came, kind of like held my breath, and I was like, here we go, 12 a.m. I don't know why 12 a.m. I think I even looked up like when the what is the earliest time, like early play. I looked up like what place had the earliest December 21st date, wherever country that was. So I checked that time zone, and yeah, it was all good. They didn't get going, but all day I was kind of on edge. So we survived it, and now anytime I see a doomsday thing, I'm like, let's go, bring it on. Fuck it, we survived 2012, and whatever happens now, it's in the books. So got the podcast, and maybe it'll save in the cloud. Maybe it'll save in the cloud, and the aliens, the future civilization that sees it after the apocalypse, will hear this and be like, damn, that's wild. They had teachers back then. They won't even need teachers. They won't even need teachers in the future. They'll have all the information they need. And we're living in a pretty cool time. So keep that in mind, and hope you have a fantastic day. And if you've made it this far in the podcast, thank you for listening, and always appreciate it. So I'll sign off, and have a beautiful evening or day or morning, whatever it might be, wherever you're at. Bye-bye.